Hey, what's up, everybody? So I got to tell you this story about something that happened to me this morning, and I know you're absolutely going to get a ton out of it. So I was out driving, and I heard this commercial on the radio, and this guy started off the commercial basically by telling people that they could easily make six figures. So naturally, I was definitely interested in it. I mean, it's really what I help my members do, and my coaching clients do, is get them from the salary they're at up into the six figures. And really get them to a point where they're making life-changing money. So I wanted to see what this guy was going to say next, and really what followed kind of disappointed me, but it absolutely motivated me to really let you guys know about it and help you guys understand the fastest, easiest, and best way to consistently make six figures. So this guy was touting his product, and he was talking about this, quote, fix and flip system where you basically can make quick cash and make six figures. Now, a disclaimer right off the bat, I'm not the real estate guy. I'm not going to tell you that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or he does. Maybe he's totally like one of the best gurus out there. I can't tell you that. But one of the things that really came out of this commercial for me that I wanted to share with you is that he was promoting the difference between somebody's salary or what they're making, their income right now, and making six figures was his system. In other words, they're not changing at all. But yet his system, if you plug it in, they're all of a sudden going to make six figures. And it reminded me of something that one of my mentors told me one time. And he said that the income that you make is exactly the same as the value that you provide to the world. So, if you have a job where there's tons of people in it, like waiters and cashiers and things like that, you're not going to make a lot because there's a ton of people that do it. It's just very easy to find somebody that does that. There's also things like velocity. If it takes somebody 6 hours to do something, it's going to cost a lot more money than somebody that can do something in 15 minutes. So in the end, what you make is literally a direct reflection of the value that you give to the world. And it's not about a system. It's not about externalities and words that you might say, or anything like that. It's about who you are and what your value is to the world. If you're worth six figures to the world will pay you six figures. If you're worth $25,000, the world's going to pay you $25,000. And if you're worth $500,000, the world's going to pay you that amount. And what's amazing is, you don't ever have a question about what you're worth. The world is going to tell you that. So the question is, how do you get, if you're currently worth $25,000 to $30,000, how do you get to a point where you're worth $150,000 or $250,000? And the answer is something that I've learned over and over in my life. And to be honest, it surprised me how often I forget it. And that's the concept of investing in yourself. And that's really what I want to talk to you guys about today, is the importance of investing in yourself. For a while, when I went to school, you figure you're going to go, get your high school diploma, and then you get your college diploma, you'll get a good job, and you'll be on a path where you'll basically be set until retirement, and then you'll have enough money to retire. But the problem is there's so many people out there with the same credentials that I had that my value to the world, since there were so many other, in a sense, competitors, was going to go down. And so one of the things that I felt like I need to do, one from a career standpoint, but really two from a personal standpoint, was getting a master's degree. And it was really key. And it wasn't about saying I had a master's degree. It was about learning something that I really always wanted to learn, but maybe never had learned. And for me, there's elements of that really change where I'm at. But it's not just in education. Investing in myself has paid dividends in other areas. And I'm going to talk about one that's not necessarily business related, but it's a perfect example of how one small change can absolutely change everything. I mean, absolutely everything. And I didn't see this one coming. I'll just tell you that right off the bat. I did not see this one coming. And it goes back to playing baseball. And I know I talk about this from time to time in different videos and lessons and things like that. But it's really important. It's a really important lesson that honestly floored me and took me by surprise. So going back for the longest time, when I was a little kid, I was 13 or 14 years old, I always wanted to learn how to throw a curveball. And this was pre-internet. This was during the 80s, so there was no internet. And so I had always asked everybody, I wanted to learn how to throw a curveball. And everybody treated me like Ralphie in A Christmas Story. They're like, no, you're going to shoot your eye out, kid. Well, you're going to blow your elbow out, was I had always heard, and we're not going to teach you. And so I ended up going to my high school team and trying out over and over again, only to be cut at the last cut. And it sucked. You know, I had one pitch and I almost made the baseball team. I mean, that's, if I had a curveball, it would have made things better. So over time, I finally ended up learning a curveball. And I had one other pitch, but I was just an average player. I mean, there were people out there that could totally hit me. I wasn't winning a lot of games. Sometimes I'd have a good game, sometimes I wouldn't, and it was just, in a sense, I looked at it as dumb luck. But then I was home one day, and I always just thought I always wanted to learn how to throw a cut fastball. And so I went online and I saw on Steve Carlton's website, this guy was known as having the best slider in Major League history. And sure enough, on there, he goes step by step by step. And even like, it wasn't a video tutorial, but it was a lot of pictures, and it's really well described how to do it. And so over the next couple weeks, all I did was just throw and throw and throw. And that next season, I mean, I got to tell you, it was crazy. I went from being an average player where my team might lose or might win, it might be because of me, it might not be, to being a shut-down pitcher. I mean, being at a point where I consistently won all the time, where nobody was hitting this pitch. And it was a go-to pitch, and it was just dominant. And yet, the only thing that changed wasn't how hard I threw, it wasn't how in shape I was or not, it was this one little pitch. So what does that have to do with you? Well, it has everything to do with you. If you really want to make a difference in your life, if you want to go from where you're at right now to the dream, ideal life that you know that you have for yourself, it doesn't require getting a system. Now, the Negotiator's Playbook and what we teach here, it's not a system. There's no system that I teach or that really anybody teaches that's going to be able to get you to that point. What's going to get you to that point is you have to have a value of that amount to the world. And you have to increase that value. And you do that by investing in yourself. And really that's it. It's a simple concept. If you're going to do the same things you've always done, you're going to earn the same amount that you've always done. But the problem is with inflation, that amount's going to go down and down and down. So $30,000 in 10 years is going to be absolute poverty at that point. But if you want to get to a point where you have life-changing money, where you have passive income coming in, where you can take vacations when you want, when you don't have to work a lot and you're double and tripling the salaries or the incomes that your competitors and your colleagues are making, you have to invest in yourself. One of my other mentors, always says that risk goes down when education goes up, but risk goes up when education goes down. So in other words, the more you educate yourself on a particular thing, the less risk there is. And it just makes sense if you think about it in a lot of aspects of our life. If we know exactly what we're doing and we're operating at a high level and we know the answers before the test comes out, it's not really risky that you're not going to pass that test. You know the answers and you're going to do well. But when everything is a surprise or it's left a chance, that's when your risk goes up. So, and you hear a lot of me talk about mentors, and it's not by accident. I have a lot of mentors not because they come to me, because I seek them out. I really seek them out, and I make the choice that I want to invest in them. Not only time, but money. And it's not really either about time or the money for you. It's about being the person that you want to be and identifying somebody that can help get you there and shortening that learning curve. So you don't have to do everything yourself, but you can find somebody that's been on the path and successfully navigated it, that path that you want to be on, and it will basically skip over all the landmines. But you have to invest in yourself. And the great thing is, when you do that, it's not this 4-year bachelor's degree or a 3-year law degree or anything like that. It's not a long it's not basically a long struggle, but rather it's having that one inflection point and identifying that one thing that will ignite the results you're getting. So if you want to get started, the first thing that happens isn't buying anything. It's not that. If you want to get started, the first thing that you need to do is make the decision in your mind that you're going to get to where you want to get. And you're going to make the decisions necessary to get there. Now, I can help you get there. I can help you get to that point where you're worth 6 figures, where you're worth multiple 6 figures. But it has to be something that you start investing in yourself. Beyond me, there's a ton of great people out there that are doing the same thing. And I definitely recommend you get started. But if you're looking at it as an expense, where you're sitting here saying, I can't afford it, or, that's too much money. If you look at how much money that you want to make or what your lifestyle is going to be when you implement this and compare it to the amount of money that people are asking you to invest in helping you get there, it's really a clear choice. So to get started now, really you just have to make that decision. Am I looking at this growth, at this shortcut, this learning curve shortening as an expense, or basically it's like buying something at a fast food restaurant? You give them your money and the money's gone and you know better for it. Or are you looking at it as an investment, knowing that when you put X dollars down that you're expecting a 20X return? And really, that's what the people who have those high values do. They can understand what the investments are, and if they know they're going to lay down X in dollars and they're going to get 30 and 40 times return off their investment, they're going to do it every single time. But not only every single time, they're going to look to do it as often as they can, because they know it's going to get them to even that next higher echelon that they want to get to. So get started now. Now, I have a ton of great content in our community. So if you haven't joined as a community member yet, you need to do it right now. We have tons of awesome lessons in there. We have tons of interviews that we're constantly adding to and improving and increasing the collection. But in addition to that, we also have the opportunity, if you're a part of our Red Pill Society, to basically take it up one notch higher. And those are individual lessons that are live, that I introduce you to the people that taught me what I know. But I also offer individualized one-on-one coaching as well. Now, this is something where you can literally throw gasoline on the fire and ramp up to where you want to be as fast as possible. So whether or not you join the community or you go some other path, just go. You need to start investing in yourself. If you don't, your colleagues and your competitors will, and you're going to wonder why you're falling behind. But instead of that, be that first mover. Take the step to invest in yourself and get that 20 to 30 to 40X return on not only your money, but also your time. I'll see you soon.